I was asking you on Thursday about his right hand. You said, I felt when we stared down, I felt his right hand was twitching, which was a subtle tell for me. He is ready to unload that right hand, and I feel that could be a downfall for him. I will create traps and dead space inside that octagon, and I will walk him into that dead space. But all of a sudden, he will be in danger. How do you do that? How do you predict these
if
things?
you can see it here, and you have the courage enough to speak it, it will happen. So I see these shots, I see these sequences, and I don't shy away from them. A lot of times people believe in certain things, but they keep to themselves. They don't put it out there. You truly believe in it. If you become vocal with it, you are creating that law of attraction, and it will become reality. I knew he would overextend, and I knew I'd catch him. So Mystic Mac strikes again.
I've manifested things that I'm just like, I still shock myself, like, how the f did I make that happen? And this is not even to do with fighting, this is to do with my personal life. And I'm like, I made that happen. And this is through this like manifesting subconsciously as well. Just years of something just manifesting, and boom, it's right there. I'm just like, shit, I really made that happen. It's scary, man. Both of them together, when you have the vision and you're able to manifest, but then you also put the work in, magic happens, man. Magic, that's where the magic is, but a lot of people never get there. Unfortunately, a lot of people, we're blessed that we can dream.
Around 2010, I went through this huge spiritual thing where I became obsessed with the power of the mind. And I got into it deep, like really deep, just meditation, visualization, and just realizing how powerful our minds actually are, like how we really do paint our world with our thoughts and our level of self-belief. And so right around 2010, I just took myself to this different mental level where I took myself from being average. So I took myself from being very average-minded to actually believing that I was the shit and believing that I could be the shit and that I could be the GOAT and be the greatest and never lose. Into, like, I took myself to a different place mentally, and a lot of it came from mental practice and meditation and visualization and just seeking knowledge from people who are strong believers, guys like Les Brown and Tony Robbins and guys like that. I just became really obsessed with just learning about the power of the mind. So I used to meditate. Now I just kind of, I have a lot of things that stuck with me, a lot of ways of believing that stuck with me that just subconsciously I know who I am, what I'm capable of, and how I believe, and how powerful my mind actually is.
You attract what you feel, what you are, what you attract. What's on your mind? Yeah,
it's like the law of physics. I don't know how anybody can disagree with that. It's just, ask any physicist, they'll tell you that it's true. Yeah.
Albert Einstein, he said everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics.
Bro, I can manifest like a
Do you believe in it in the metaphysical sense? You believe
100%. Everything comes from the imagination. Everything comes from before this microphone was a microphone, someone somehow thought about it. How can I speak into something that would amplify my voice and blah, 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 blah. And then this came out of it, and it's evolved over the years. But everything comes from the imagination. So the power of the mind, people don't understand. We still don't understand. I still don't understand how powerful it is. I'm still learning. But I know one thing is I can make things happen.
My name is Conor McGregor and I live in Lucan. I'm an up-and-coming fighter, and without a doubt you will see me on the UFC in the near future, without a doubt.
You can have anything you want if you want it badly enough. You can be anything you want to be, do anything you set out to accomplish if you hold to that desire with singleness of purpose.
When you talk about manifesting your own destiny talking about, that is Ronda Rousey, that is Conor McGregor, that is any of these successful people that you meet. That's who they are, and that's exactly what they do. It's a fact. She sat there and laid out and told me exactly how her career was going to go. Conor McGregor laid out and told me exactly how his career was going to go. These type of people, it's real. It's absolutely real, and I've seen it many, many times in my life.
If you organize your mind
to a certain level of organization, it in turn organizes the whole system. Your body, your emotion, your energies, everything gets organized in that direction. Once all these 4 dimensions of you, your physical body, your mind, your emotion and the fundamental life energies are organized in one direction. Once you're like this, anything that you wish happens without even lifting a little finger actually. It would help to assist it with activity, but even without doing any activity, you can still manifest what you want if you organize these 4 dimensions in one direction and keep it unwavering in that direction for a certain period of time.
I watched this segment on TV about these guys going through Navy SEAL training. I saw these guys just quitting. But at the very end, it says 22 guys, there's commanding officers up there, and he gives this great speech. I was like, man, I wonder. So I started visualizing me being the 23rd guy in these dress whites, sitting there with these guys, getting that Navy SEAL, graduating this Navy SEAL training. I was like, God. So I put myself there. I was like, man, that's an amazing feeling. I put myself there at 297, not even able to do anything that these great men were doing. I said, man, if I could feel that would change my life.
But we grew up with the idea, if you can't get it, forget it. And so 90-some% of the population have forgotten it. And we just let the dream go. But here's what you want to know. If you can see it in your head, you can hold it in your hand, because that is the frequency. Match the frequency of the good you desire. Now stay with me. You may want to watch this videotape 100 times until this really sinks in. And through repetition, you'll say, oh, now I see. Now stay with me. Look here for a moment. The moment your belief matches with any state, you fuse with it. The moment your belief matches with any state, you fuse with it. Well, there's the state you want to fuse with. That's where the dream is. That's a frequency. There is a place. You can use that. You can get your imagination. You can go there. You see? The moment your belief matches with any state, you fuse with it. You become one with it, it becomes one with you. And this union results in the activation and projection of its plots, plans, conditions, and circumstances. When you change your vibration, everything in your world changes.
And I've always had visions of better. I've always visualized better. And in times of struggle, like driving down in a banger of a car that I had to push start, I'd be still driving a soft top Bentley around beautiful California in my head. And lo and behold, now I am driving a beautiful soft top Bentley around California. So I always visualized good things. I always visualized victory, success, abundance. I visualized it all, and it's all happening.
A lot of people were surprised when they found out that you've been signing your name as Champ 2011. How did that come about?
I believe in the law of attraction, and I believe that that you can speak things into existence. And I believe that when you know where you're going and you know what you want, the universe has a way of stepping aside for you. And me signing my signature with Champion 2011 on it can't hurt me. It can't hurt me. It could only help me to believe it even more. So yeah. I mean, it works for me.
I always dreamed as a kid that it was possible to score 80 or 90 or 100. I always just had a dream. Like sometimes you lay down in bed and you visualize things, and you just kind of that's at least how I would go to sleep. I'd lay down, I'd imagine playing for the Lakers, and I'd imagine what the uniforms look like. I'd imagine where we'd be playing, and the smell of the arena and all sorts of stuff. And I would see myself, getting hot.
What we know from quantum physics is that like attracts like, which is the law of attraction. Everything in the universe is made up of atoms, right? Me, you, the sky, everything. But what differentiates us from, say, the sky above us is the density and the vibrational frequency of the atoms. And the idea is that high vibrational frequencies attract high vibrational frequencies back to it. But thoughts and feelings have different vibrational frequencies. So if we're constantly in this state of anger, shame, regret, guilt, fear, we're operating at a low vibrational frequency. And then that's what we attract back to us, this kind of low vibe life. Whereas if we're constantly putting ourselves in a state of appreciation, gratitude, love, compassion, you know, then we're operating at a whole different frequency. And so what we attract back to us is abundance.
Saying I'm gonna do something, putting it out there for the world to see, and then going out and doing it. There's no better feeling in the world than that. And it's as easy as that. Say what you're gonna do and go and do it. I knew I was going to be the person to bring martial arts to the public eye, and now it's happening. You know what I mean? There's two things I've learned from these past 7 months. Number one is that hard work pays off, and number two is that dreams come true, and that's what's happening.
Yeah, he might be a better wrestler than me, but you know, like I said, you gotta have confidence in yourself. So even if, you know, collegiately he had a better career than me, you know, I'm gonna believe that I'm gonna be better than him. You know, it's the power of the mind, and you know, I believe that I'm going to stuff his takedowns. And if he does take me down, I believe that I'll be amazing on my back. You know, I just got to thank for the best and, you know, train for the worst.
What do you think the sport's going to be, you know, when UFC 200 rolls around? And where do you think you're going to be 9 years from now, 10 years from now?
I'm hoping to be a champion.
Manifesting is real. When you figure out who you are and what you want to do, and you devote your life to it like a maniac, like you're all in on this thing, and you manifest, most of these people end up, you know, doing what they say they're going to do and being who they say they're going to become.
I started visualizing at like 13, 14, just so everything around me was taken care of when I got to a meet, so I could be completely relaxed. I get to go up and just do what I practice to do. All of those countless hours of staring at the black line at the bottom of the pool, that was for this moment.
Nothing is impossible, you know what I mean? You can achieve anything. I'm going to continue going on this journey, and if the title shot is next, I will take it. If not, at the end of the day, I already feel like that is mine. I already feel like that belt is mine. So eventually, one by one, I will get every single one of them until there is no one left, and then I will decide what to do from there. But the belt is already mine, I feel.
The biggest life lesson that I've learned is the power of the mind, and just how important it is to look at yourself at a high regard and to believe in yourself. I think in order to paint a bright future for yourself, you have to be able to see it in your mind. You have to believe in it, and the more you believe in it, you know, the more your world will start to change, and the more you'll just start to, you know, see your beliefs come to pass. So, to answer your question, just self-belief.
If I can build an image of something in my mind, I'm quite capable of building a physical replica of it in my world. So if I build an image of me as a happy, relaxed person, I can live like that. If I build an image of myself as being prosperous, I can become prosperous.
So if we think rich, we will be rich.
Absolutely. We're already rich, just short of money.
Choose to feel good now, regardless of your circumstances, because when you make feeling good your priority, everything else falls into place. This might sound counterintuitive. You might think, but I'll feel good when I get what I want. But that's backwards. You get what you want by feeling good first. Your emotions are the magnet that attracts your desires. So make feeling good your top priority. Find reasons to be grateful now. Find reasons to be excited now. Find reasons to be confident now. Start telling a new story about your life. Instead of focusing on what's wrong or what's missing, start talking about your life as if it's already perfect. Tell the story of your life the way you want it to be, and do it with conviction. Do it with feeling. Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. So when you tell this new story with emotion, your subconscious accepts it is true. And when your subconscious believes something, it moves heaven and earth to make it your reality.
It's all in your head, you know. You tell yourself you are what you are, whatever you tell yourself. You know what I mean? And I'm telling myself I'm the two-weight champ. You know what I mean? That's that. You know what they say, when you see it in your head. Who says that? When someone says when you see it in your head, you're gonna see it before your eyes, and that's what happened. I hope that inspires people to get out and chase what they're chasing, you know what I mean, and get after it. Have fun with it, you know what I mean? I don't give a fuck. I'm just here to have fun, you know what I mean? And when you have a love for life, it's contagious, you know what I mean? And it just attracts good stuff and attracts good things to you, and it has been working for me so far. So
whatever you imagine is what you can have, because God places the life He has for you in your imagination. If you keep seeing yourself owning a business, if you keep seeing yourself with a summer home, if you keep seeing yourself with a big job promotion or the job of your dreams, if you see yourself with 2 homes. That's God. He places everything he has for you in your imagination. Unreal things don't come into your imagination. You've never thought anything unreal, because how can you think an unreal thought? If you dream of being rich, don't play that off, because that's what God got for you. But now you have to pursue it. It's just the principles of success. You just got to adhere to them, because the law of attraction works. If you walk in the house, this is how it works. Whatever you put out, that's what comes in. You pick up your remote and you press the on button, you point it at the TV, guess what happens? So the law of attraction works. Whatever you emit from your remote control, the greatest remote control ever invented was your mind. Whatever you emit from that signal, that's what returns to you. You think rich, you be rich. You think poor, your ass is poor. You ever heard a woman say, all men are dogs? Guess what? She finna meet all of them. You gonna meet every last one of them. You ain't even gonna meet a good dude, because that's what you attracted. That's the signal you emitted from your remote control. So when I wake up in the morning, I only have great thoughts. I'm gonna have a great day. Thank you, Lord. Appreciate the day. I expect great things to happen to me. Even when something negative happens, all I gotta do is wait it out. Behind every moment of adversity, there's a lesson and a blessing. All you got to do is ride it out. It's gonna be tomorrow. And as long as you wake up, whatever happened yesterday, that's in the past. I ain't smarter than nobody in here. I just think a little bit different. I think big thoughts. I wanna ask God for little stuff. I don't even waste his time with little stuff. I wanna ask God for no couple $100. Lord, I need another zero on my check. I don't even ask for zeros, I ask for commas. I want another comma.
The human body replaces 98% of all the atoms in 1 year. You make a new liver every 6 weeks, a new skin once a month. In less than a year, you replace your entire body down to the last atom, which means that right now what you're seeing is my 1993 model. The body I had last year is gone. So,
which means that you really could cure yourself of whatever.
If I knew how to influence the software, this is the printout. The hardware is my brain, the software is all those chemicals we were speaking about, and then there's a programming, it's my thoughts, feelings, emotions, and desires. But where's the programmer? It's the spirit, it's that silent space between the thoughts.
I always knew so. I knew I wasn't going to be regular. I just knew like I was going to be great at something. I didn't know what it was, but I knew I was going to be great at something. I just knew greatness and madness.
But I just feel it in my whole being that I'm the best fighter on the planet. Now my job is just to prove it. I started thinking about it the day that I decided that I was going to go up to heavyweight. You know, my goal for 3 years now is to become the heavyweight champion of the world. It's what I pray about, it's what I sleep on, it's what I dream about. It is who I am, and I will get it done.
All that matters is how you see yourself. If you see yourself as the king, you know what I mean? You see yourself with all the belts and all everything. And no matter what no one else says, as long as you see that and really believe in it, then that's what's going to happen. Who can tell you otherwise? Who says what way you see things? Who says what you see out of your eyes? I saw myself in that light. I saw myself as the number one. You know, I saw myself as the champion, even before anyone else did. I just kept that in my head. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's 24/7 in my head. I always think about it. I'm always down. I don't do anything else. And knowing that I have that kind of mentality about it, that's what gives me confidence going in there. Of course, I visualize the belt, man. That belt is on me up 24/7. You need to tell yourself if you're going to win or lose. And there is no opponent. There's no Jose Aldo. Who is Jose Aldo? There's no one. You're against yourself. I believe in myself so much that nothing is going to stop me.
Let's say you want to build a house. If you start thinking, oh, I want to build a house. To build a house, I need 50 lakhs, but I have only 50 rupees in my pocket. Not possible, not possible, not possible. The moment you say not possible, you are also saying, I don't want it. So on one level, you're creating a desire that you want something. On another level, you're saying, I don't want it. So in this conflict, it may not happen.
So this, I think, speaks to your question about law of attraction. The interesting thing about thinking is it's very hard to control our spontaneous thoughts. So, for instance, I can't prevent myself from thinking something. However, I can deliberately introduce a thought. And we know that you can't hold too many thoughts in mind at once. So what I will say is that it's hard to suppress thoughts, but it's actually quite easy to introduce thoughts. And it sounds to me like this law is basically a process of introducing thoughts. And when you start introducing thoughts and you start thinking of thoughts as a form of perception, they're going to shape they're going to shape what you see. Wow. They're very going to heavily constrain what you see.
You have to understand, you are a magnet. Whatever you are, that's what you draw to you. If you're negative, you're going to draw negativity. You're positive, you draw positive. You're a kind person, more people are kind to you. So you're like a magnet, you know, and you got to understand something about like attracts like. If you see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand.
I see myself as the champ already.
Already? You're the featherweight champion already?
Of course, I see myself as the champ from day one. Before I even started training, I always saw myself as the champ. That's how I see myself. I visualize myself already there. I visualize everything. I visualize this conversation. I visualize the walkout. I visualize everything going on. I know I have shots picked out that I'm going to throw in this fight in 5 weeks. You know what I mean? I've seen everything in my head, and now it's going to happen. You see it in your head, you're going to see it before your eyes. That's what I say.
I dreamt this so much, so clearly, so precisely, and so frequently that it has manifested itself into reality, and that's what I am feeling right now. It's a dream come true.
Connor, in February of 2013, we spoke for the first time. You didn't have a car, you didn't have a pot to piss in. All you had were blueberries. Now here you are with the undisputed gold. Enjoy it, my friend. You deserve it. You called it.
Yeah, from nothing to something to everything. So that's where I am right now.
So with Rampage Jackson, I kept having these nightmares that I would get knocked out. And no matter how the fight played out, I would always get knocked out. And it was always within the first 30 seconds of the fight. So, you know, one scenario I'd run out, he'd run at me, swing a huge overhand right. The other, he would throw a right uppercut. And then another dream, it was a left hook. And I couldn't avoid this inevitable knockout that I was going to experience in the first round. And, you know, I'm a big fan of sports psychology, so I call those red zone thoughts, and I actually learned that from Rashad Evans. You know, when you have a negative thought, immediately cancel it with a positive thought. You know, instead of thinking of somebody beating your ass, you think of yourself exhausted, you're winning, fight's almost over, just think something positive. And I just couldn't avoid these images and actual nightmares of Rampage Jackson knocking me out. So on fight night, I felt like I was going to get knocked out, and I felt like this was coming for me. I felt like energetically, like I was getting these signals from a higher power that, like, John, this is going to happen to you tonight. And I couldn't avoid it. So I just had this super deep prayer where I got down on my knees and I touched my body from my head to my toe for the first time. And I prayed this prayer asking God to just give me these supernatural, like, reaction abilities, speed, flexibility, awareness. And as I was praying this prayer and touching myself and rubbing myself and meaning every ounce of this, thinking my life is on the line, I noticed, looking at myself, that I was covered in feathers. I was covered in white feathers.
Like a hallucination?
It wasn't a hallucination, man. It was
real as fuck to you.
It was very real to me. It was very real to me. I could see myself covered in, like, there was like small feathers in between my fingers, and I was covered in feathers, and they came up like to my neck, and my face was still like normal, not in feathers, but my hands and feet were covered. And I felt like I was like this fighting thing that wasn't earthly, almost. And I like felt this surge of energy, power, flexibility, mental acuity and awareness and sharpness that I had never experienced before. And I like jumped off my knees and like landed on both feet immediately, and I was just like, woo! Woo! And I was just, my coaches was looking at me like they could feel like, okay, he is pumped up. And Coach Winkle John's like, let's hit. And immediately I kicked the pad, and it was like, boom. And it was like, whoa. And like my kicks were lightning fast, and I didn't need to stretch anymore. I didn't need to warm up my lungs anymore. My kicks were going up high. I was jumping higher. I was kicking faster and higher. It was an unbelievable experience, and I actually was able to hang on to this feeling and this illusion of myself being in this alter ego all the way through the cage, all the way through my walk to the cage. And I felt like in that Rampage Jackson fight, I walked into that fight as this Featherman for the first time. My idea to crawl towards him was the only thing that hadn't happened in all my nightmares, right? Because in every fight I started on my feet. So something just said, get on your knees and crawl up to him. And then automatically the dream voids itself of him knocking you out immediately, right? So I did that, and I got to kind of, I don't know, fight in an alter ego kind of state, and it was super powerful. Now, to this day, I say that same kind of prayer over myself, and I believe that it transformed into something.
But you decide exactly what you want, and then you start to think. Now, you're going to have thoughts come to your mind of why you can't get it. Mm-hmm. You have the ability in your conscious mind to reject that idea, kick it out of your mind. Thinking of why you can't do something is never going to do you any good. And keep thinking until you start to think of thoughts of how you can do it. And the way will be shown to you. It comes in the form of images in our mind. Think of how you can and not why you can't.
If at all if you're unhappy, the only and only reason why you're unhappy is life is not happening the way you think it should happen. That's all it is. So if life is not happening the way you think it should happen, you're unhappy. If life happens the way you think it should happen, you are happy. It's as simple as that. So if life has to happen the way you think it should happen, first of all, how you think, with how much focus you think, how much stability is there in your thought, and how much reverberance is there in the thought process will determine whether your thought will become a reality or is it just an empty thought. Or how you do not create any impediments for your thought by creating negative thought process. This possible, is something possible or not possible? It is destroying humanity. What is possible and not possible is not your business, it's nature's business. Your business is just to strive for what you want.
I have been feeling like the UFC world champion since the day I arrived here.
Did you have faith maybe back then that your time would come and that you would be able to explode onto the scene as you had?
If I didn't, it wouldn't have happened. I had to believe in it, I had to feel it, I had to have faith in it for it to happen. So you're damn right, I think. I can do what I've been dreaming of doing, giving back to the people who have given so much to me. I just wanted to give it back and help out and just do that. My mother and father are still young. Now they have their feet up, they can relax, they are in a new place, so it's good. That's something I always dreamed of. I always visualized what giving would feel like, giving to people who have given to me, what that would feel like. I always dreamed of just showing up one day and be like, here. And that would always give me like good feelings.
I was reading a book one time that had a quote in there from Albert Einstein. And Albert Einstein said, imagination is everything. It's the preview to life's coming attractions. If you think about that, that's a really, really true statement. Because everything you see in this world came from somebody's imagination. Everything. Somebody was talking on the phone one day, on that wall phone, connected to the cord, and tried to walk and it didn't go no further. And he wanted to just go outside and get something out the car. Somebody said, you know what, I wish I could take this phone outside. Everybody in here got a cell phone. It was in somebody's imagination. Somebody imagined that. Somebody imagined everything. Somebody got tired of walking. Somebody got tired of driving cars. Somebody said, we're gonna fly. You're not finna fly. Everybody in here have been on a plane. See, your imagination is the evidence of things not seen. You know why they call it the evidence of things not seen? Your imagination, you the only one can see it. You're the only one can see it. See, so all this stuff you've been imagining was not some hocus pocus. When you imagine stuff, it's actually God showing you a preview of a coming attraction He has for you.
Kids in school should be taught before the school year ever starts to sit down. They should be given a blank report card and get them to visualize the marks they want to get and write their own report card. This is before school starts, first week in school. And then the teacher should say, now I want you just to concentrate on how to get that mark, and I don't want you to think why you can't. And I want you to form the attitude that you're going to get it. Now some people say that's not being realistic. That's being very realistic. It's following the success principles that go back 6,000 years in recorded history. That's how everything was accomplished.
If you have a clear picture in your head of something is going to happen, and a clear belief in that it will happen no matter what, then nothing can stop it. You know what I mean? It is destined to happen, and that's what happens. You know what I mean? It's perfect. When I was a kid, I used to always visualize stadiums, and like even when I was playing football, I'd kick the ball against the wall, and I'd pretend I scored a goal, and I'd run off, and I'd be raising my hand and visualizing a arena full of fans. You know, that was something I'd done as a kid out on my own. I like just running around kicking the ball. So I always had these visions of something, but I just didn't know what it was.
Everything is possible in your life when you believe. When you believe, everything is possible.
You lived up to your promise to be the first person to knock out Max Holloway. Just how does it feel knowing, another prediction you forecasted came to life?
I call this because I knew it. It's a surprise for a lot of people, but for me, it's like I knew it. I said it and I did it.
I would say throughout my martial arts career, the biggest life lesson that I've learned is the power of the mind, and just how important it is to look at yourself at a high regard and to believe in yourself. I think in order to paint a bright future for yourself, you have to be able to see it in your mind. You have to believe in it, and the more you believe in it, the more your world will start to change, and the more you'll just start to see your beliefs come to pass.
So you want to create yourself as a peaceful human being, joyful human being, loving human being, a pleasant human being on all levels. And do you also want a world like this? A peaceful world, a loving world, a joyful world? No, I want greenery, I want food. When we say a joyful world, that means everything that you want has happened. So this is all that you're looking for. So all that you need to do is commit yourself to creating it, to create a peaceful, joyful and loving world, both for yourself and everybody around you. Every day in the morning, if you start your day with this simple thought in your mind, that today, wherever I go, I will create a peaceful, loving and joyful world. If you fall down 100 times in the day, what does it matter? For a committed man, there is no such thing as failure. If you fall down 100 times, 100 lessons to be learnt. If you commit yourself like this to creating what you really care for, now your mind gets organized. Once your mind gets organized, the way you think is the way you feel, your emotion will get organized. Once your thought and emotion is organized, your energies will get organized in the same direction. Once your thought, emotion and energies are organized, your very body will get organized. Once all these four are organized in one direction, your ability to create and manifest what you want is phenomenal. You are the creator in many ways.
Whatever you do, you've got to be a little bit gone to it. You're not all there. You've got to be almost insane to your craft. Not a lot of people can understand that. That's why I don't know about nothing else. I do not pay attention to nothing else. I think it's important that you put a conscious effort into appreciating your surroundings, you know what I mean? That's what I do with this place. I absolutely love this city. You know, you need to appreciate your surroundings and be grateful for it, and that's when good things happen, you know what I mean? But to have that bitterness and that negativity, then things start going bad, you know what I mean? So I think the fact that I have them thoughts and the fact that I appreciate everything and I'm grateful for the things around me and the way things are going, that's why it's going so good for me.
Do you have moments where you're like, man, how did this happen? Like, how have I been able to stay on top for this long? Do you have moments where you talk to yourself like that?
I do, and I always just point it back to God, man. Honestly, man, it's God's grace, and I know everyone's not a believer, and a lot of people think, I wish you just wouldn't talk about God, but it really is God's grace. It really is, man. He has sustained me through so much, through the death of my mother, through facing a 4-year suspension. Through just my dumb mistakes. He's probably protected me in ways that I don't even know he has. But really, I just pointed to God's grace, man. You know, I wear this tattoo on my chest, Philippians 4:13, that I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And I genuinely believe that I can do anything. And I'm not surprised that I'm still here. I believe that I could possibly be here a decade from now.
Well, that's where all greatness comes from. Greatness comes from fantasy. I would imagine that when Edison first saw the light bulb, he was fantasizing. But he kept fantasizing and he built it into a theory, and then he built it into an image, and then he built it into a fact.
True years in the gym, true wins, true losses, true life. I just realized that if you say it to yourself and you look yourself in the eye and look yourself in the mirror and truly believe that not a man alive can beat you, then that is the way it is. And just through hours in the gym and preparation, I feel that I am untouchable right now.
This is the law of attraction. I mean, you have to, in the struggle, you know, when things are going good and you visualize these good things happening, you visualize more good things happening, that's easy. What's not easy to do is when things are going bad and you're visualizing the good stuff. And that was what I was able to do. I was able to, you know, even though I was having these troubles at home, and even though I had no job, you know what I mean, or whatever, didn't know what I was doing. If it didn't happen, it didn't happen. But I still was able to feel like it was. I still was able to go into a different, just like use my imagination, like a kid would use his imagination. I was basically just using my imagination, driving a little my girlfriend's car, a little Peugeot 206, and I was driving that, shaking down the road, and I visualized that, and I swear to God, sitting in the traffic and all, I visualized, I'm sitting here holding the steering wheel, visualizing a brand new car, and visualizing good things in times of struggle. And that, when you can do that, I think that really makes that law of attraction work. I think it really attracts to you more. You know what I mean? Because that is harder to do when you're in the struggle to visualize these things.
But there's 24 hours in the day where you're alone in this brain, and your brain is talking to you in all kind of ways, and it wants to control you and pull you in these different pockets. If you can't control your own brain and your brain controls you, you're f***ed. You got to tell your brain where you want to go and how you want to go and how you want to get there. You got to control it. If not, it's over.
As the thought energy flows into our mind, we decide what we're going to think. Person's out at work, they can decide to think I can't find a job, but they can decide to think I can. If they're thinking I'm going to find one, then they'll start attracting a train of thought to them, figuring out how to find it.
There's another thing. What do you want to be? You know, I don't want to be anything. I am everything I want to be. You know, I'm already there. You know, I don't want anything. You know, people say like, I want this. I want to do this and I want to do that. But the vibe you're putting out is want. You're always gonna want. You know, I always have the attitude that I have. And I always felt like I was a black belt walking in. You know what I mean? I always felt like I was the world champion. I always felt like I already could do everything. I was only telling you about the surfing the other day. I was got the rental, walking around like I was a fucking pro. You know what I mean? But I don't want anything. I have everything. That's a mindset on me. I have everything. I have everything. You know what I mean?
I done everything I said I was gonna do. I was laughed at. I was literally laughed at to win that second world title. When I first came into, I was gonna take these 2 world titles down. Laughed at. That's never gonna happen. An Irishman even winning the UFC. When I said that, I was laughed at. So I said I was gonna win the 2 world titles. I won them. I done everything I said I was gonna do. Every move is a calculated step. Make no mistake about that. It's only January of 2017. I'm already the face of the UFC. I'm already the face of boxing. I'm already the face of the WWE. And I'm already the face of Hollywood. All the way up is a dream to climb above that cage and raise them 2 belts. That was in every interview I've ever done. So when I won the fight and they strapped it, that Dennis Siva situation when I grabbed the 2 belts was before I'd even got 1 belt.
Yes.
That's how much the power of visualization, that's how strong the power of visualization is. I wasn't even a UFC world champion at that time, and already I was grabbing 2 of them and flaunting it in everybody's face. I believed it was gonna happen. I put the work in for it to happen, and it happened. So it's a strong thing, the power of visualization. Nothing external can defeat the internal. The only thing that can take someone down or break you down is internal. Nothing external is strong enough. It's just about making sure your internal dialogue and your internal belief in yourself is strong enough that it can withstand the external. The external is there. You've got to accept it. You've got to embrace it. You've got to understand it and be aware of it. But don't let it seep into your internal dialogue.
Tired is only in the mind. You tell yourself you're tired, you're gonna be tired. I don't get tired.
That motherfucker's been a part of my shit since I'm 16. 15, 16, I started trying to play with that. Start trying to visualize things. I used to drive into a car park and try and visualize a car spot right next to the door and try and get that car spot and really try and visualize. I've been playing with that law of attraction and visualization a long time. So since I'm 16, since I first discovered it, if you can see it here, even the other day, I left my home. I was flustered leaving the home. I had to rush before I had to catch a flight here. I tried to rush into town and I was in a hurry, panicking. I got pulled over by the old Bill in a sweat. And then I hit the city centre and then I hit a traffic jam. I'm saying it's like when you feel that rush or when you feel, you know, it just keeps going and going and going. So I just sat and count to 10, patient, and then everything opened up for me and I rolled through. So I don't know, it's been a part of my life a long time. I've been playing with it. I can't pinpoint an actual moment, but I tell you what, it fucking works.
You can think negative or you can think positive, but you can't think both at the same time. You're only going to think one way at the one time. And we have to train our mind to think or look for the positive or the good in things. There's good in everything. There's no such thing as no good.
My life is good, you know. In my head, my life was always good, even when it probably wasn't. You know what I mean? And so I just keep that in my head. Feel like a millionaire walking around.
If a person would sit down and let their body relax, totally relax, okay, and then start to visualize in their mind, see themselves the way they want to see themselves. See how you'd like to live your life. See yourself living it that way. Okay. Now understand that that's a picture in your mind. When you pick up a book, the book is nothing but a picture that an author has painted in words. Van Gogh, the great artist, was asked one time how he did such beautiful work. He said, I dream my painting, and then I paint my dream. They get the picture of the mind, and then paint it on the wall or on the canvas. Well, if we would relax and build the image in our mind of how we'd like to see ourselves, how we'd like to see ourselves acting in life, relating to other people, our social life, see ourselves in the position we hold, or how we make our sales presentations if we happen to be in selling or something, and then take that picture and describe it, write it out in the present tense. I am so happy now that I see myself, and write it out. Now, a lot of people will laugh at this and say, that doesn't make any sense. It makes a lot of sense. They can't tell you why it doesn't. I could spend hours telling you why it does, and I could explain it in such detail that everyone would understand it. But write out a description of how you'd like to see yourself. Start to read it, and read it, and read it, and read it every day. Carry it around and keep reading it. The one point that all the great teachers all down through history have all agreed on, they've been in complete unanimous agreement on it, we become what we think about. Now, it may be fantasy at first, it might even appear to us as being a lie. But if you read it often enough, you'll start to believe it. And when William James said, believe and your belief will create the fact, you will see the person's personality change. I watch people in the seminars, personality change right in front of my eyes. And all they're doing is starting to see themselves different. They're starting to think different thoughts.
If you expect to achieve your goals, if you expect to reach your potential, if you expect to have your dreams come true, what I'm about to explain to you is mission critical. You must become a master at visualization. For those of you that are like, what the heck is she talking about? I did not sign up for some sort of meditation woo-woo spiritual thing here. Don't worry, this is Mel Robbins. There's always science and research involved in everything that I talk about. So visualization is a extraordinarily powerful skill. You may have heard of the law of attraction. You may have heard of the word visualization. You may have heard of the word manifesting. I call it seeing signs. Your brain has a system in it Here's the technical term. It's called the reticular activating system. It is a network of neurons all up in here. And what is the job of the reticular activating system? It is a filter system. It's basically a system that allows certain information in your brain and it blocks out other information. And guess who programmed that filter? You did. And so did the people from your past. And so if you constantly feel like you're unlovable, guess what? Your reticular activating system is going through the day and it is going to point out every single piece of evidence that confirms that negative belief that you have. If you think that people don't like you at work, the reticular activating system, the filter, it is literally going to be looking for evidence to confirm that belief all day long. This is one of the reasons why we have such a problem with politics in this country. This is why there's something called a confirmation bias. Confirmation bias means your mind loves to read things that you agree with, because reading things that you agree with confirms your filter. Why do we have a reticular activating system? There's a really important reason why you have this. The reason why is if your brain let in everything. Have you ever looked at a Facebook page? Have you noticed how many words are on a standard Facebook page, and the ad over here, and the ad over here, and the ad over here, and the ad, and the news feed right here, and the stuff up here, and all this over here? If your brain took in everything at equal value, your head would literally explode off your shoulders. Your brain would melt down. And so the reticular activating system protects your brain by filtering information and only letting in stuff that it agrees with. So that's the scientific reason and mandate for why you got to get busy reprogramming that thing. Now we're going to talk about how you use visualization in order to start to reprogram the reticular activating system in your brain so that your brain starts to spot opportunity. Your brain starts to spot evidence that things are working out. Your brain starts to spot coincidences so you can build momentum. And it begins with visualization. So as you take your goals, right? So you've written down all these goals, right, for 2019. I want you to go to each one and I want you to do a visualization exercise. And here's how you're going to do it based on science, because there's a particular way you have to do this based on science, okay? It's a two-step method. If your goal is to improve your self-worth, I want you to visualize what your life looks like and how you're going to feel about yourself when your self-worth has improved. There's two things that you have to do when it comes to visualization. You have to close your eyes. Truly, I know it sounds stupid, but I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to, in your mind, have a specific picture of what it looks like in your life when your self-worth has improved. You're going to see yourself speaking up at work. You're going to see yourself talking more about your business. You're going to see yourself leaving bad relationships. You're going to see yourself defining boundaries. You're going to see yourself going to the gym. You're going to see yourself taking care of yourself. And when you start to visualize the image of that, I want you to consciously, this is step 2, consciously think of the positive emotions that you're going to feel. I'm going to feel happy. I'm going to feel proud. I'm going to stand taller. I'm going to be so grateful that I made this change. Marrying the specific picture. Oh, there I am. There I am. I'm at work and I'm raising my hand. Amazing. I'm sharing my idea. There I am. I'm getting a promotion. There I am asking for a raise. There I am. I've just signed up another customer to my business. There I am. I've gone back to school. I feel so good about myself. When you do that, here's what's actually happening in your brain. This is the cool science part. You are training your brain to have a totally different filter. You see, your brain, my brain, it doesn't know the difference between something that actually happened to you, like the F you got in your test in 10th grade, and the things you imagine that are happening to you. Let me say that again. Your brain doesn't know the difference between the bad things that actually happen to you, the real memories that you have, and an imagined memory that you're creating. Your brain will experience you visualizing going to the gym, you visualizing how happy you feel when you do, you visualizing asking for that raise and getting it and how proud you're going to feel. Your brain, when you visualize in the way that I'm teaching you to, it encodes it as a real memory. And that's important because when you encode it as a real memory, it changes the filter system, that reticular activating system. And here's what we know based on research. The more you visualize things, number one, the greater your confidence is going to be, the greater security you're going to have about it. And here's the really cool thing. The more you do this with your goals, you wake up every day and you just visualize it takes 30 freaking seconds for crying out loud. You visualize having a great day at school. You visualize curing your panic and how proud you're going to be. What studies suggest and have proven is that simply visualizing yourself doing things actually develops the skill and helps you improve the skills, just as if you were actually doing it. And so there's proof based on research that visualization helps you build skills. And then finally, the other thing that's really important about this is that the more that you do this, what we know based on research is that the reason why you start to believe what you think is because you are reprogramming your brain. You are changing the network of neurons that act as a filter. And so the more that you actually believe in yourself and you start thinking and visualizing yourself speaking up, the more confident you're going to become, the more skills that you're building, and you're actually going to do it. And then instead of looking for all the reasons when you're sitting in a meeting to not speak up, you're going to just speak up. Because you're going to have changed the filter. You're going to look for opportunities. This is how it works. This is why this is so incredibly important. And so day one, I want you to go through all the goals that you set. And I want you every single day throughout the next 30 days, you are going to spend 30 seconds. Your dreams deserve 30 seconds, don't you think? You're going to close your eyes and you're going to visualize, what does it look like in your life when you have achieved your monetary goals this year? How does it feel to go to the bank and see that balance? How does it feel to be able to write that check and take your kids to Disney World on money that you made? How does it feel to be able to rent your own place or put down a down payment for the house you've always dreamt of? How does it feel to be able to have saved enough money so you can quit the job that you hate and launch the business because you have achieved your goals? It feels darn good. That's how it feels. And I want you to just savor that, because what you're doing when you visualize is you're reprogramming your reticular activating system, that system of neurons, that network that acts like a filter in your brain so that it's spotting opportunity, so that it is helping you see evidence that you are confident, that you are capable, that you can do this, instead of all the garbage you think right now.
Well, the first thing you do is sit down and decide what you want. If it's money you want, how much money?
Lots of money.
Well, nobody knows how much lots is. Okay. So you've got to be specific.
Okay.
You write down on a card exactly what you want. And you carry that card around and read it often.
The last 5 minutes of the day, before you go to sleep at night, are the most important 5 minutes of your day. You are now going to go into your subconscious mind for the next 8 hours, and you're going to marinate there in those 8 hours. As you enter into your subconscious mind, you can do one of two things. You can review all of the things that you didn't like, that didn't work, that disappointed you, all of the stuff that's going on in the world that you hate. Now you wake up, and your subconscious mind begins to offer you up experiences that match up to everything that you've placed in there. Or use those last 5 minutes to program into, I am well, I am healthy, I am content, I am peaceful, I am unattached, I am in love. And you just start to program yourself this way so that when you wake up, your subconscious mind, which can't make a distinction between the thoughts that you have or the actual things that are going on in your physical life. So if your subconscious mind is being programmed to say, this will never work out, the universal subconscious mind will begin to offer you experiences that match up to that, and you'll go through your whole life.
Anything you say with the words I am, your subconscious will then take that as a command. If you say I am sick, you're actually creating sick in the future. See, a lot of people think when they're describing the present, well, I'm sick. But the fact is you're prescribing the future by describing the present as it is. And most people never get that. So when you're saying negative things to yourself, you're affecting yourself in a physiological way. And so we're constantly programming our subconscious. So this is why the people that live the most effective lives are always acting as if they're in the future and the future's perfect.
Your subconscious mind is your supraconscious mind. Don't call it subconscious because it knows much more than you know right now. What you know is very limited state of awareness, but your supraconscious mind knows everything. Here's what you do. You should ask questions like the following. Who am I? What do I want? What is my purpose? What do I want to contribute? What kind of friendships do I want to have? What kind of unique skills and talents do I have? You can even ask these questions of yourself before you sleep at night. And then you'll find solutions either in the form of interesting ideas, creative solutions, or you'll meet people, situations, circumstances, events that will be answering your questions, because your supraconscious mind, it starts to do a file search and it delivers the answers to you when you need them.
I went from a very average thinking person, like just average 19-year-old, to getting, I don't like reading, so I literally got on all these TED Talks and on YouTube, and I just started YouTubing videos about self-belief and what does it mean to be confident, and what does it mean to be a winner, and how do you become a winner. And I would watch hours and hours of Tony Robbins and Les Brown and TED Talks, and I taught myself how to believe in myself and how to think that I was greater than just this kid that was a dropout who never really had great grades, never really was the starter, never was the captain of a team. I was just always kind of this average person, and overnight I taught myself that I could be great and change myself forever, and I'm forever grateful. I'm never going back.